So can this remake of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle really be that good? We'll see. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of the Hulu original movie, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. This is a remake of the 1992 film and is directed by Garza, Cervera. So in this spoiler-filled discussion, because I do have to talk about the ending, this movie, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, is about a family. The family includes the mother, who's played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. The father is played by Raúl Castillo. And of course, a couple kids. They are struggling. They're not doing very well in their relationship. And what comes along? A nanny who, of course, seems like the perfect nanny. That's played by Maika Monroe. And she is an individual that has a darker side to her, as the Michelle Elizabeth Winstead character starts to notice, as Polly, who's Maika Monroe character, starts to do things that are a little disturbing in a lot of respects, whether it be making people sick, whether it be bringing fireworks in the house. And it basically leads to a dark and sinister feel to this individual that is played by Maika Monroe. Well, we also have characters played by Starr and Riki Lindhome, who play friends, and they become suspicious of her character and stuff like that. So that's basically the non-spoiler version of this movie about a succubus, I guess you could say, is the easiest way to put it, or a interlope in this world that is The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. So the original Hand That Rocks the Cradle is a staple of the 90s. It's a very much campy, but it's beloved for what it is. So doing a remake is logical, but could be seen as problematic for a lot of people because they may like that original. And, you know, it's disturbing and weird and has moments, but it's very campy for what it is. You know, it was directed by Curtis Hanson and stuff like that. But, you know, this new version, the trailer looked pretty decent. It looked like it was going to be a lot of fun. It looked like it was going to be campy again, similar to like Cape Fear in a lot of respects, where it has decent performances, it has fun with its material, but it didn't look like it was going to be anything special. So I didn't go into this movie expecting much. I do like Maika Monroe. I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Raúl Castillo and Starr are pretty decent actors. So as a non-spoiler review, or at least this portion, what do I think about this movie in my honest review? I think it's perfectly cromulent. I think it's an entertaining movie. I think it has one of the most ridiculous endings of a movie I've seen this year. But I think the performances by Maika Monroe and Mary Elizabeth Winstead, especially Maika Monroe, are pretty competent. They're fun. They're entertaining. They work well. They work well with one another. Maika Monroe has an evil side in this movie that is very much fun to watch. You can see kind of her evilness, like leaking into this like family and how she does things and how she interacts with the kids, whether giving them sweets, which she should not do to little young kids, or, you know, just kind of becoming one of those ladies that kind of tries to steal the husband and stuff like that. And it leads to a revelation, which is very weird. But I like this movie. I really do. I think it's entertaining. I think it's fun. It's, you know, not necessarily high art or not necessarily Oscar-worthy material, but I think the performances are fun. I think the direction is serviceable. I think it has, you know, an interesting concept and idea that, once again, is similar to the 1992 original. But I think the thing I don't like about this movie is just, one, the ending, of course, but I think it doesn't add anything new. It's very much in that same vein as, like, you know, you'll see once a year, you'll have one of those where you have a bunch of stars in it, and they'll have like the seductress and stuff like that, and the family who get corrupted by the seductress, and, you know, ends up, you know, basically ending the same way with somebody dying and people going to jail or whatever. But it's also a story that has been told time and time again, and therefore it's just not very original. So therefore it like loses points, and it does things that are questionable at best. But once again, I don't know. I just find this movie just questionable as some of the decisions were from the directors and the writers, and, you know, how they have the cast and crew portray themselves. It just was fun. It was fun watching Maika Monroe be an evil temptress, and it was fun watching Mary Elizabeth Winstead have the issues that she's having with the fear that, you know, this individual is taking over her family and is doing things that are uncouth, and, it's that type of movie. That is what it is. And Raúl Castillo is playing the not really sympathetic character. He's like the father who is being corrupted by the seductress, and he's not really believing his wife, and it is what it is. So I mean, overall, because this is not a very long review, it's pretty similar to the 1992 film. It does veer off in a completely different direction at the end, but it's very similar in the simple fact that this seductress seems like perfect until she becomes integrated into the family, and it starts affecting the family itself. So overall, entertaining film, not the greatest, but that's kind of how I see it in my non-spoiler reviews. So we'll get into the spoilers because I have to talk about this ending here in a second. But overall, if you want to watch the movie before seeing the spoilers, go ahead and watch it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. But yeah, let's go ahead and do spoilers right now. Okay, so spoilers for this movie. It's a pretty preposterous ending to a movie. I'll talk about Martin Starr first. Martin Starr is a friend of Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character. He starts to suspect, as she does, that there's something not on the level with Maika Monroe's character, and he searches for information by taking her trash, by confronting her, and he uncovers that her family died in a fire, which is very important to the ending. And she is confronted by Martin Starr's character, and he apologizes to her. And what does she do? She kills him with a bat. At least I think she kills him. It's at first, I guess it's, he's not dead, but she's dead, or he's dead, or whatever. It's very goofy. Martin Starr, doing best what he can with the script, but he's just a very goofy character. Riki Lindhome doesn't really get much to do in this movie, as well as Raúl Castillo, who just is more of he questions whether his wife's sanity is really important, because I guess she's had a past with her sanity and stuff like that. But there's not really much there when it comes to structure and development to these characters. They're basically there as individuals who are kind of road bumps or speed bumps for Maika Monroe's character. But where this movie leads and where it becomes super preposterous and it's going to determine how you feel about this movie is how this movie wraps up. And we learn through articles, we learn through past, that Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character and Maika Monroe have a past. Now, how Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character never notices this, I have no idea. But back in the day when they were very young, a incident happened where Maika Monroe's Polly character, or Rachel, or whatever you want to call her, family was killed in a fire, and she was put into homes that were probably a very abusive homes, like 9 homes, as you said. But as we come to learn, the reason that fire was started was because of Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character. Now, okay, sure, connections, we're going to be connections. It really needs, it can't just be something happens similar to like the original Hannah Rocks the Cradle, where it has to do with like adultery and stuff like that. But we come to find out that Mary Elizabeth Winstead was accusing Maika Monroe's father in this movie of rape, and accusing him of doing that. And because nobody was believing her, including the Polly character, the Rachel character, she sets fire to the house and basically kills the father, mother, and the young child. Not Polly, the character that Maika Monroe plays, but her family. And for 30 years, she's been plotting to get back at this individual. And they confront each other at the end of this movie. And Rachel, Polly, Rebecca, whatever her name is, basically is so messed up after the whole incident that she's been plotting revenge against this family and been doing it. And it's so stupid in its logic and reasoning that it actually takes the movie down quite a bit from being like a truly entertaining film. And it ends with she stabs Maika Monroe's character, stabs Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character. Somehow Mary Elizabeth Winstead is fine from their injuries, which are very much fatal injuries. She is attacked by Maika Monroe. They pull out of the car as Raúl Castillo and the daughter are pulling up from a soccer game. And Maika Monroe's character is killed because of a collision from a car and stuff like that. And that's fine. You can have an ending like that. That's perfectly normal for these types of movies. I just think the idea that this is similar to Halloween, the rebooted Halloween, that this person waited this long to get revenge and it messed her up. I don't know. I don't know how she waited so long for this stuff. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe you can, out there in the audience, can make me understand this, but it's just stupid. Like the explanation and the idea that, you know, Maika Monroe's character doesn't believe it. I mean, she wouldn't, I guess. Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character is held on to this her whole entire life, makes more sense than what Maika Monroe's character is doing. I don't know. It's really baffling as an ending. It really just doesn't make any sense. It just feels very tacked on, like they didn't really know how they wanted to do this story, and I think it plays out quite humorously and quite goofy, and that's just my overall kind of feeling of the ending. The fact that it was that they knew each other, or they didn't know each other, but they were together. You also find out Maika Monroe's character, when she was young, she was being molested by her own father, and you can tell that kind of messed her up too. But it just, the connection, the idea that this story is kind of that, it just I don't know. Why can't she just be a creepy individual that, you know, similar to like Misery with Kathy Bates, where it just became somebody that was just like, why does it have to be tied into a past? I don't get why they do this sometimes, and a lot of these movies do this where they tie into a past where these characters know each other, and it doesn't work for me. That's just where it works. Overall, the rest of the movie is pretty entertaining. I mean, Maika Monroe is pretty fun in this movie as a villain character, but that ending just kind of blew it. It really did. It was a problem. So overall, not a big fan of the ending. Kind of fell, dropped the boat, or dropped the shoe, or whatever you want to call it. But the rest of the movie's fine. The rest of the movie's enjoyable. I think everybody else is having fun in this movie, so I guess that's fine for what it's worth. But, you know, that's my take on the ending. So there you go. Anyways, that's my take, spoiler and non-spoiler take on The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, now on Hulu. So I hope you appreciate my review. Comments below, what do you think of the original movie? Have you seen this version? What do you think overall? Let me know in the comments below what you think about the ending. If you liked it, that's fine. If not, tell me why, all that good stuff. Otherwise, if you like what you see on the channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.